chapter 3, verse 2. Vayomer Moshe. Moshe said, Asurana. I want to depart. Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. Moshe said, I will depart now. I'll turn to the sides. He had just seen the burning bush. And Moshe says, let me depart now and I'll see. As a Mareh Gadol said, this tremendous appearance. Madua lo yavarat now. Why is the bush not burning? Wants to know why the bush is not burning. Rashi says, Asura mikan. I'll turn from here with Karev Lasham to come close to there. So, hold on one second. Let's see, 3. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go.
You want to share with me? Make me co-host?
Okay, fine. Make you co-host. Okay. This one is for you, Deborah. Let me just share this teaching from the Sefer, because Deborah takes care of animals so beautifully. Let me share this teaching here from the Tal Mishpat. There are two great giants of the world. God tested them about a small matter and found that they were faithful, and he elevated them to greatness. He tested David with the sheep, and that David watched the sheep in the desert to keep them away from theft. God said, clearly you're believed with sheep, come and watch my sheep. As it states, Me'achar alot. And also by Moshe, it states that Moshe led the sheep into the wilderness, also to keep them away from theft. And God took them to watch his own people. The sages went down into the depths of the soul of the shepherd. And we had this recently in the Talmud, that shepherds typically allow themselves to take a little bit, to steal a little bit. They say, look, I'm not stealing for myself. I'm stealing for the animals. The animals are reliant upon me, but I can't, they figure out a way to justify it. And so, but the two shepherds who didn't do that, David and Moshe, and that's why God chose them. And chose them to be leaders, because the leaders, they don't steal for themselves and not for others. They don't justify it. That's the sign of a leader. He doesn't justify a reason for theft. So leaders have to be careful in that area. That's what the sages say. Okay, go to verse 4. Mayara Hashem kisar. So God sees that Moshe had departed from the side. Hello, Thera. Beautiful. Moshe saw that God had departed to sea. God called him from amidst the burning bush. Moshe, Moshe. He says, Moshe, Moshe. And he says, Hineni, here I am. Rashi, so what does Rashi say? He doesn't say anything about that. Well, we're up to chapter 3, verse 5. Vayomer al tikrav halom. It says, don't come closer. Shal ne'alecha mi'al raglecha. Remove your shoes from on your feet. Ki hamakom asher ta'omed alav admas kodeshu. The land you're standing on is holy land. Rashi says, take off and remove your shoes. Okay, so Moshe had to remove his shoes because the land he's standing on is holy. But this is, I just want to pause here and just share, there's so many powerful ideas here that take off your shoes. Why is he saying take off your shoes? Because it's holy. And also, why do we say that this land is holy? He should have taken it off before he got there. Shouldn't he have removed the shoes before he got to the land? Hello, Yoav. Amazing. I want to tell you, Ezra. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Big exciting news today. Kobe is going to lead Marav. He told you? Wow. Very proud. Very proud. So the idea is, why does he say why does he tell Moshe, don't Kobe, it's your big day? Nah, please. If Kobe makes a mistake, will anybody snicker here? Will anybody snicker? No. All you're going to have, everybody here, Kobe, is your biggest fan, just cheering for you. But everybody knows how brave you are. And we've all been there, gone up in front of a group of people, a little bit unsure of ourselves. But we know that the people here know that they're all rooting for you. And if you make a mistake, we're not going to view it as like a desecration of the service. We're just going to view it as one more beautiful way of serving Hashem.
Yeah.
So why didn't Hashem tell him the land was holy before he got there? And so the teretz is that the land was only holy once he was standing on it. Once Moshe Rabbeinu came there and accepted upon himself this mission of serving the people, that's what made the land holy. Anyway, that holy land, I was there. I stayed on that holy land with the burning bush. I was there. The bush was no longer burning, but still. No, for sure. The Torah tells us there'll never be another human being as great as Moses. But I did go to the place where he went. Obviously, I'm not obviously no one. How long ago? No, I think I went 2 years ago. A year and a half ago. Yeah. It was amazing. It was the type of thing that at the time I knew was amazing. But looking back at it, it's even more amazing. Okay, so now it says Vayomer in verse 6. He says, Anochi okay Avicha, okay Avram, okay Yitzchak, okay Yaakov. It says, I'm the God of your father, Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. Vayaster Moshe Panav. Moshe hid his face. Ki yarei me'abid el Elokim. He was afraid to look at God. Vayomer Hashem. God says to Moshe, Ra'o ra'isi es ani, ami. I've seen the afflictions of my people who are in Egypt, Asher Mitzrayim. Vesakasam, and their cries, Shamati mimnei nogsav. I heard their cries from the officers. We're chapter 3, verse 6. Chapter 3, verse 6. Ki yadati et machovav. I know its pains. Rashi says, that means that God paid attention to know the pains that we were going through. I did not hide my eyes. Should not block my ears to their cries. This is such a powerful verse for me. We're reading about now. Or maybe there'll be a hostage deal. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not an expert, obviously, far from it on the politics of it. But one thing I know is the hostages were crying. Like, their pain was so immense. And we assume that Hashem was hearing their tears. Verse 8. And I went down to save him from Egypt. and to lift him up from that land, Eretz Tov V'Rachava, from the land that is good and expansive. Eretz Avas Chalav V'Dvash, the land flowing with milk and honey. I'll take them up from there, the land flowing with milk and honey. Verse 9. Now the cries of the children of Israel are coming to me. And I saw the distress that the Egyptians are pressing upon them. Yes, Thera. Which verse are you talking about? In both cases, it's the same word, but in one time it's the Egyptians, and one is the place Egypt. And it's spelled the same way. Rashi tells us that the nation is referred to in the singular. That's what Rashi tells us. Very good. He says, Go, I will send you to Pharaoh, and he will take out my people, the children of Israel, from Egypt. This is such a beautiful Rashi. It's such an important Rashi. I want everybody to hear this. Go, and I will send you to Pharaoh. And you're going to say, Vim Tomar, if you say, what's it going to accomplish? Then I'll tell you, your words will be effective, and you'll take them out of there. Lots of times, people say, why should I do this? What's it going to accomplish? What's it going to accomplish? You know what? You never underestimate the power of going to Pharaoh and speaking. You can never underestimate that. Moshe says, what will it accomplish? One time, I went with Rabbi Weiss, we did a protest, and it was just 3 or 4 of us there protesting. We did a protest, sometimes just me and him. Rabbi Weiss always used to tell me, we don't go always because we expect big crowds, but sometimes it's the right thing to do. We just go to be there because it's the right thing to do. And then one time, Rabbi Weiss told me that they say the following story about Richard Nixon. You guys know who Richard Nixon is? He was the president of the United States, and then there was a scandal. You ever hear of the Watergate Hotel downtown? What? Watergate Hotel is in downtown DC. It's like right by the bridge that goes you to Virginia, that takes you to Virginia. And it's called, like, there's a hotel there called the Kennedy Center. There's the Kennedy Center right next to it, and it's an apartment building and a hotel. I don't know, did it used to only be, was it an apartment building? Yeah. So it's very fancy, very fancy. Anyway, so Nixon did something. There was a big scandal, and the people were protesting, but he's like standing strong. But then the story is that one time he looked outside the White House window and he saw one old man standing there protesting, and that broke his back. Just that one single voice. Guy standing there, probably Sam was watching him because Sam was working in the White House those days, Lafayette Square, right? This was not the 60s. This was the 70s, Sam. You didn't work in the 70s? You were working 80s, 80s? Yeah, 80s. Anyway, it's the power of a single voice. You never underestimate. Somebody told me he wanted, I'm not going to say the political issue. Somebody told me, like, he wanted to take out this aggressive, hello, Reb David, this aggressive ad campaign in Israel. He wanted to take out banner ads, and he said his people the people are saying to him, "Why are you doing this? You're going to be wasting your money." And he asked me if I thought he should do it, and I said to him, "If it's the right thing to say, then you should say it. If you could afford it." And he could afford it. So the point is, we say something, we protest because it's the right thing to do, not because it's going to be the popular thing to do. So if Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, how's it going to help? You say, don't worry, it will make a difference. Your words will be effective, and you will take them out of there. I'll tell you another story that David Balto told me one time. That Rabbi Weiss, one time, I'm not going to tell you the full story, but one time Rabbi Weiss was standing in protesting here for Soviet Jewry, and he got arrested. And people might have thought that, like, okay, no, he got arrested on purpose, civil action. People might have thought, okay, this was like a blip. Who remembers, who cares? Like, he got arrested, what did it accomplish? But maybe 30 years later, David Boltel told me that he was there as a young attorney, and he saw it, and it had a big impact on him. And so you see, you never know. You can never measure when you stand up and you say the right thing to the pharaohs of the world. You can never measure the impact that you have, and it had an impact on David. Is that correct, David? Well, let him tell the story. Let him tell the story.
In that up above, I would have a difficulty justify my actions. I quickly rang the man, company prosecutor in the back of the room. I ran up to him and said, "You do this." And, yes.
Well, I don't think they sent him back to jail after that. No, that was before. But that was before he went to court. Once they went to court, they didn't send him back to the jail. And he, I think that his lawyers were frustrated with him because they wanted him to just plead guilty, and you'll be, and the case will be like a slap on the wrist. And he says, "I'm not guilty. I was there for speaking my voice of conscience." And they were like, "No, just stay guilty." He refused to do that. He refused to do that, of course. Vayomer Moshe El. You did get promoted, David, in the upper courts. You got promoted. Oh, Rabbi Weiss wanted to get arrested so many times. Not only did he try to get arrested, I'll tell you another story. One time he was protesting against Iran and he got arrested. Now, I did not get arrested because for whatever reason, I decided I didn't want to get arrested. And I never have gotten arrested so far, thank God. And hopefully I'll keep that record till the day I die. But I don't want to get arrested in this country. Whatever. I feel like it's not my thing, but I respect that. Anyway, we got arrested, and I was trying to work the angles to get him out. He was in the New York jails. He said, "No, staying in jail will bring more attention to the cause." He didn't want me to push him to get him out. And so anyway, yeah, that's what he was trying to get the news out. Vayomer Moshe Elokim. Moses says to God, "Mi anochi, who am I? Who am I? Mi anochi, who am I? Ki elecha Paro, that I'm going to walk to Pharaoh. I'm going to go to Pharaoh. And and I'll take out the children of Israel from Egypt. Who am I? Rashi says, who am I to speak with kings? Who am I to speak with kings? This I realized very quickly as an activist also. As an activist, you can just go right in and speak to whoever you want, and they're all afraid of you. Meaning to say, you speak the truth, they have no answer. You're the activist, you can go and say whatever you want to whoever you want. Because that is it, you're speaking the truth. So Moshe says, who am I? That I'll take out the children of Israel from Egypt. And he says, even if I'm significant enough to address kings, what merit will Israel have that a miracle be done for them, and then I'll lead them out of Egypt? Vayomer, God says, Ki imach, I will be with you. V'zelcha ot, this will be the sign. Ki anochi shalachticha, and I've sent you forth. Potziacha ta'amni Mitzrayim, when I lead the people out of Egypt. Ta'avdunas ha'okim al-harazeh, you will worship God on this mountain. Hello, Elon. How are you today? We have a very exciting day today. Did you hear the big? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, probably Dan will do mincha because he's a mourner. But it's big that he's been studying, we've been training him. So he said, Ki I'll be with you. Moshe answered the first question first and the last question last. Because he said, who am I that I'll go to Paro? So he says, it's not yours but mine. Meaning to say, Hashem is saying, it's not your mission. You're just my tool. You're just my instrument. It's not your mission. Not your mission. You're not going for yourself. You're going for God. And I will be with you. This is the appearance that you saw in the bush. For you is the sign that I sent you, and that you'll succeed in my mission. And I know how to save it. Just like you saw this burning bush, which was doing my mission and was not consumed, so too you will go with my agency and you will not be harmed. And then the third question you ask, what merit do the Jewish people have that they will be brought out of Egypt? I have something great. There's a great reason to bring them out, because in the future, they'll receive the Torah on this mountain 3 months after they left Egypt. So why are we being brought out of Egypt? Because of the merit of being able to receive the Torah. And you're not going on your own mission, you're going on my mission. And how do I know you'll be successful? Because I'll give you a sign, just like this bush does my mission and is not consumed, so too, you'll do my mission and you will not be harmed. Rashi gives another explanation. I will be with you. The fact that you'll succeed in your mission is the sign for you of another promise, that I promised that you would take them out of Egypt, you'll come to this mountain and you'll receive the Torah. And this is the merit for the Jewish people. Meaning to say, the proof that you'll be successful is when you come out, you'll know to come to the land of the Mount Sinai. Anyway, so now we come to Moshe says to God, I'm coming to the children of Israel. And I said to them, the God of your father sent me to you. And they'll say to me, what's his name? What should I say to them? Hey, Moshe, how you doing? So if they say to me, what's his name? What should I say to them? Moshe. God says to Moshe, Eya Asher Eya. That's my name. That's my name. I will be that I will be. Yeah, there's a beautiful book about this by a scholar called Eric Fromm. You never hear the name Eric Fromm? He's a psychiatrist, I think a student of Freud. Maybe he was, I don't know. You can look him up, see exactly what he wrote, but I believe, anyway, I wrote this this book that he wrote just about this verse. He said to Moshe, I will be that I will be. And yeah, sure, yeah. What a definition of that is. Because the way everybody wants to know, it's ironic. What's this book called? The Sefer that we're reading, what's the name of this book?
Name.
And God is saying, my name is I will be. What does that mean? What does that mean? I will be that I will be. That,
Name is patient. For example, like Pharaoh renamed Joseph takes possession of it. When God renamed both Avot, he takes possession of it.
naming is possessing, or naming is a prophecy for the future, but God is the future. Or more than that, God is beyond names. So if you now, I would want to suggest here, we'll stop here, but I want to suggest this idea. Do you realize what kind of revolutionary verse this is? The whole world until this point has only known a God that's tangible, a God that can be touched, a God that can be named and identified. Now, all of a sudden, for the first time in human history, we're saying that God is not something that can be touched. God is not something that can be understood completely. God is something that will be, that just is existence. My name is existence. That's just, we take this idea for granted about God, but this is the revolutionary moment in history where God says, I am existence. That's what I am. I'm the breath. It's also like, what does this remind us of? What does this remind us of? What verse in the Bible, in the prophets, does this remind us of? When Elijah goes to Mount Carmel and he says, where is God? And there's a big earthquake and God is not in the earthquake. And there was a big fire and God is not in the fire. And there was a strong wind and God was not in the strong wind. And where was God? In a small, still voice. What does that mean, the small, still voice? That God is existence. God is existence. That's what it means. God is existence, like this phrase. And actually, we'll end with this. There are only two figures in the Bible who go to Mount Sinai. Only two figures in the Bible go to Mount Sinai. I mean, to prophesize, to commune with God, there's only, and after Moshe, only one goes. Only one goes after Moses. And Aaron doesn't go up Mount Sinai. He stays back with the golden calf. Joshua goes to the foot of the mountain. Who's the other one? Elijah. And actually, if you go to Mount Sinai today, you go to this mountain, and there on the mountain, which they think is Sinai, if you go on a 6-hour climb, not a hike, but a climb up the mountain, which I didn't do because it's not hiking, it's climbing, mountain climbing, you see a cave. And you know what that cave is called? Elijah's cave. That's where Elijah stayed. And how was Elijah fed during that time? The ravens. The ravens. The ravens fed him the food. All right, let us daven mincha at this time. Yasher koach. Now,